Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Go Big or Go Home. I am old man, joined by the spectacular youngster, Kevin Cunningham, a.k.a. Kid Cunny on Twitter. Tell you what, youngster, every show we do from now until March is a little bit bigger. Yes, little pun intended. Our show is Go Big, and maybe next week it'll be Go Bigger, then Go Even Bigger, and then Go Biggest or Go Home.
Go huge.
Because, I mean, we're getting there. We're getting close. And it is now put up or shut up time. It really is in the league. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it, and now is the time. You got 1 month to prove your case. But I'll turn it back over to you before we get into basketball. How was your day?
It was good. I didn't tell you this. This week, I've had this Target job for a couple weeks now, and last week was my first week. I started at 6 a.m. Today I started at 4 a.m., and it's the same for Wednesday, Friday. So I had to get up at like 3:10. I don't know when you get up, Troy, but
2:30 a.m.
Oh, so I actually beat you for once. I got up at 3:10.
2:30 a.m. youngster. I'm up.
2:30 a.m. 2:30. Okay, never mind.
2:30 a.m.
Okay. But so yeah,
nice, it's nice that you're living in the real world of work, my friend.
3:10 in the morning. That's something. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Realistically, I mean, I'm a little tired, but as you should be. But I'm doing fine. Doing all right. I'm hyped up for the show. The selection committee did something for the first time this year that, this now happens annually, kind of like college football, when the College Football Playoff Committee releases their first top 25. That's when it's really getting into crunch time. And like you said, it's actually getting into crunch time. We've got like a month left until basically the selection show actually happens. So got a number of things to go through, but this show should not be insanely in-depth in terms of recapping games because, again, last week we kind of held off our show until Thursday. Excuse me. So we've only got a few games really to recap before we start previewing. But
just
again,
the weekend. Just the weekend games. But I'm sure we're going to spend some time on this top 16 because you know how I feel about that, Kevin. It's a good old whoop-dee-doo-hoo. Because it came out and four of the teams already lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I understand why they do it, and it's a good barometer, but honestly, I think they could do without. I really do. I told you last year when we were getting close to March. I'm an old school guy. I like to turn the TV on Sunday night after the last conference championship game. I like to see the board. I like to see number 1, number 16, number 2, number 15. That's how I like it. I don't need to see who the top 16 are a month before March Madness starts. I know why they do it. Times are changing. You got to keep up with the Joneses. If college football is doing it, college basketball's got to do it. So I understand why. I just don't like it. I could care less about it. I don't like it. We're going to talk about it because we do a talk show. But you know how I feel. I really don't care.
We agree on a lot of things, and excuse me, I don't know what my voice is doing. We agree on a lot of things, Troy and I do. If you're a loyal listener to the show, we usually have the same ideas on things, which, you can say is truthful. It's not fake. We don't push debate and try to, combat against each other on takes. We're kind of weird in the sense that we usually agree. What wins football games, how to build a winning football team, basketball, just go through any sport, whatever it is. I might have a little more knowledge on, some certain things in basketball. Troy definitely has more knowledge on things like, soccer and football. We both adore it. So, that's just always fun to talk about in general. But I remember this time last year, and I somewhat remember the selection committee, the NCAA selection committee, actually putting together this top 16, and I believe last year was the first year they did this past Saturday, February 9th, was the second time now, I believe. And the first time I remember seeing, I don't remember exactly what I saw, but I remember thinking that wow, the Big Ten's not getting any love here. Like, I think Purdue was basically running train through the league, and then the rest was like kind of, we've got a couple other pretty good teams, and then there's like Nebraska, and then there's like the rest of the middle of the pack. And it was like Purdue was like 13 or something, and they should have been, like 7 or 8, or like in the AP poll they were in the top 10, but they were nowhere near the top 10 when it came to the selection committee revealing their top 16 for the first time this time last year. And it was like, oh, maybe they're not giving the Big Ten much love at all. And that was kind of a preview to what we saw when the NCAA tournament actually was revealed was, hey, no Nebraska. Well, they went like 13-5 in conference play last year, and yet they were nowhere to be seen. If you go 13-7 this year in the Big Ten, you're basically automatic a shoo-in. So that's just it's interesting to see holistically. I whether Duke is I'm a Duke fan, to be honest, and Duke being number one, the number one overall number one team, supposedly, I don't care that Tennessee's number 2 and Virginia's number 3. That doesn't matter. I'm sure Virginia moved down a little bit because Duke beat them and beat them fairly soundly. So I don't necessarily care about exactly where these teams are ranked, but I do care that Purdue is in there, Michigan's in there, Michigan State was in there, Wisconsin was in there, like 4 teams in the top 16. You can't ask for much more than that. And what was it? 3 of the top 9? Sorry, 9. Because Michigan was 6, Michigan State 8, Purdue 9. Again, I don't necessarily care about where they're ranked, but it goes to show that, yes, the selection committee understands that the Big Ten's a really good league. So I think that helps down the road when it comes to bubble teams. And last year, Nebraska was a bubble team, and the Big Ten was not getting love. We knew that early on. And, it shouldn't have shocked us that Nebraska was left out because they showed that they didn't really care about the Big Ten a year ago. They didn't think much of the conference. Michigan went to the title game. Purdue was really good. Michigan State's really good. Got bounced out early. But that's what's interesting to me about this. So I'm fairly with you, Troy, that I don't necessarily know where these teams are ranked and to say, oh, gee, Michigan's in the same region as Duke. And Purdue is in the same region as Tennessee and North Carolina. Gee, that would be hard. It's like, who cares? It's a month out. But it's interesting to see where these teams somewhat are ranked and just basically how much role the Big Ten gets.
Interrupt you early when you're saying, where we're at. And it is funny. We do agree on like 90% of the things. So if you're looking for a show where the hosts like fight and stab each other's eyes out, not the show for you.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. We don't sit in the pregame and say, okay, this is what we think, this is what we think. And now Kevin and I have done shows, what is it, Kevin, about 3 years now? Something like that.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
It's been about 3 years. So we pretty much know each other inside and out anyway. But we don't sit and we go, oh, we got to argue this point. But you brought up a point about, this is where this team is ranked. I'm in a number of Facebook groups that involve basketball for the Big Ten. And oh my, Kevin, these rankings come out and these fans are just, like you said, fan is short for fanatic. They're going crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? There's still a month to go.
Right.
The Big Ten tournament hasn't even started yet. I could care less where Michigan is, and people are throwing out, Michigan hasn't beaten Michigan State in basketball in X amount of days, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? You're just insane. But keep listening to our show. Just keep listening. But some of you fans out there, and I know it's just a minuscule part, because I'll tell you what, Kevin, in these groups I'm in, there's a lot of intelligent guys and gals. I got to say that, because there's a number of very intelligent women that are in these Facebook groups that talk and back it up with statistical reasoning, not just the fan side of it. And I love it. That's why I'm in the groups.
Yeah.
But, man, the ones that are just in the groups that are fans, I need you to go away, because it's only February. Only February. And I had mentioned already on the show, I mentioned to you before, I believe it was 4 of those top 16 already lost, Wisconsin being one of them. So Virginia lost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these teams are going to lose. Whether or not they fall out of the top 16, I don't know. But again, if they lose now in the middle of February, but they beat 2 other teams that are in the top 16, well, then maybe they move up in the top 16. So I just want them to play basketball, Kevin. But carry on. We're going to go through the top 25 now or what?
Yeah, very quickly, because, again, the AP top 25 doesn't necessarily mean jack squat anymore. We have this. I don't remember if they update this necessarily every week. I don't think they do. I think, this is all we get until the selection show, I'm pretty sure. At least that's how it was a year ago. I don't know how they're doing it this year. I'd have to look into it. But so, anyway, the AP top 25
we'll find out next
week.
Monday.
Yeah, that's true. AP top 25 this week, I mean, it is what it is. I'll go over it quickly. But my main thing here, just for fans to know, and I'm sure you know by now, but Michigan was the number 6 team, according to the committee right now, as of Saturday, February 9th. So Michigan was 6, Michigan State 8, Purdue 9, Wisconsin 16. There you go. Now, AP top 25, Tennessee still number 1, Duke still number 2. I don't know how Duke's not overtaking Tennessee, but again, who cares? I'm a Duke fan.
Especially by beating Virginia.
Right. That's the only team Virginia has lost to. Virginia's 20-2. They've lost twice to Duke. That's it. So
no love for the Dukies from the voters.
No, terrible. Really, really pissing me off here. No, it's not. It is what it is. Anyway. Tennessee 1, Duke 2, Gonzaga 3, Virginia fell all the way down to number 4. Wow, so good job by the AP not dropping the heck out of Virginia by losing to Duke, because most would. Anyway, Kentucky 5, Michigan 6, Nevada 7. That was something interesting I was curious about, too, was the AP differentiating from the selection committee. The AP's got Nevada at 7, and the selection committee said, no, we think you're the number 14 team. That was also kind of refreshing to see. Those were my 2 main points that I took away, was that the Big Ten is getting love this year, and the selection committee doesn't care about the AP. The selection committee has Nevada 14. AP's got them 7. Last week they were 6. So they don't care about what the AP thinks. They've got their own, criteria and how they're going about it. So, which I like. I enjoy that. Anyway. Rest of the top 10 doesn't really matter. Michigan State at 11. They dropped a couple spots. Purdue moved up 3. They're at number 12 in the AP.
What they win 8? Is Purdue won 8 in a row now, Kevin?
Let's see here. Yes, 8 in a row. So they were 9-6. Now they're 17-6. So they're playing pretty solid basketball here. Who else? Wisconsin 20, Iowa 21, Maryland 24. So we've still got 6 teams in the Big Ten ranked in the top 25. Again, not necessarily that it matters, but basically overarching theme here is that the Big Ten is getting love, which that's important when it comes to seeding, when it comes to bubble teams potentially getting in. That's all I got for the AP Top 25. As far as what is next on this show that I was going to bring up was bracketology, but nothing really changed from last week to this week other than Indiana was in. They were an 11 seed. Now they're the first 4 out. And Minnesota changed from a 9 seed to a 10 seed projected because Minnesota lost. But that's basically what happened was Ohio State played Indiana, and Ohio State won that game over this past weekend. So that's why, Ohio State's still a 9 seed considered, and Indiana's right there on the bubble. I almost somewhat think they're more so out than in, which, again, if you're on the first 4 out, technically you are on the outside looking in. But I just think that Indiana, and they've got a couple nice wins this year, which is saving their lives from earlier in the year. But as of late, I mean, this Indiana team's 13-11, 4-9 in Big Ten play. I don't know how they're necessarily all that close, but supposedly they are. People think they're close. The last thing I want to get to, I guess, was the Big Ten standings. From last week to this week, Troy said last week, and I wasn't fully on board, but I was getting his drift, and I wrote that up in the little preview. If you go to thegruelingtruth.net, you can check out all of our shows, and also on Twitter, if you go to @youngsteroldman, that's all one word, you can find me at KidCunny, KIDCUNI, and Troy at TroyRobert967. Again, give us a follow at youngsteroldman on Twitter. Tell us how stupid we are. Tell us how brilliant we are. It's all refreshing to hear, regardless, to be honest with you. Anyway, he said last week, Troy did, that this is kind of a top half of the conference, bottom half of the conference, and that's exactly what it looks like today. is that you've got the 6 ranked teams literally all at the top. They make up the top 6 teams. Ohio State is at 7. They're 6-6 in conference, 16-7 overall. They're in right now. No question about it. Right under them at number 8 is Minnesota at 6-7 in conference. They're 16-8 overall. Again, they're in. But after that, you start going to Illinois, who's 9-15 overall. And then you got Indiana, like I said before, 4-9 in the Big Ten, 13-11. After Indiana, you got Rutgers at 11-12. They've lost 3 straight now. Northwestern.
Darn it, Rutgers! Come on!
I know.
They need
had
to
a
be
little
at
hot
500. I want them in the NIT, not the CIT. I want them in the NIT.
Yeah.
Come on, Rutgers.
They were giving us some hope there, but I'm still on the CIT bandwagon, just so people are aware. But yeah, there's a huge divide, I think, from Minnesota, obviously in the field, to Illinois. I mean, that's where it drops off from number 8 to number 9 in the Big Ten. So Illinois has won 3 straight games, but they're still 9-15 overall. So they've got 7 games left. They could finish at best 16-15 if they won out and won 10 straight.
That's not happening.
Right. So they're done.
Maybe they can cruise through the Big Ten tournament, though.
They would have to win it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. 4 more wins.
I mean, is there any
20.
question? Like, even if they got to 16-15 overall, they would still have to win the Big Ten tournament, right? Like, they couldn't even get to the final and lose.
No, they'd have to win it. Because if they got to the final and lost, they'd end the season at 19-16.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess if you're like Illinois' coach right now and you've won 3 straight games, you want your team to keep rolling, but at some point is it just like kind of, I don't know, we know, and Indiana's kind of in the same boat, but their overall record's not that atrocious. Rutgers at 11-12, I guess you're fighting for postseason play. Like Penn State. At Penn State, Illinois kind of in the same boat, even though Illinois had a much more productive season in conference play. It's just like all that matters is winning 4 straight games of the Big Ten title game. That's all that really matters. Otherwise, we're out. I guess you can make the case for, hey, you're playing for NIT, whatever. I guess that makes sense. So, I don't know, contradicting myself, but
well, put yourself in a player situation, Kevin.
No,
you want to hear the coach say we're playing for an NIT berth?
Right.
I mean, if I was in that locker room, I'd be like, screw you, coach. I'm playing for the NIT.
Don't you start managing minutes a little bit, or no? You just keep going all out, crazy, trying to win every single game, and, oh, gee, we lost to Minnesota. Oh, well, we beat Northwestern. Oh, we beat Maryland. Oh, well, we lost to Ohio State. I mean, it's just like, whatever. I mean, that's I don't know. That's just kind of how I see Illinois' season playing out. But anyway, to go over actually the Big Ten standings, Michigan is the top of the conference, 11-2. Purdue is second now, completely in second, right behind them at 10-2. Michigan State at 10-3. Wisconsin at 9-4. Maryland at 9-4. Iowa at 8-5. Those 6 teams are, I think they're all very good. Like, yeah, gee, Wisconsin lost to Michigan. But, okay, I still think they're very good. They're still playing really well.
Maryland, they also beat Michigan, though, Kevin. They beat them earlier in the year.
Right. So, I mean, you can't really bang on any of these teams. Michigan State basically told the rest of the league to shut up and the rest of the country to shut up by beating Minnesota by like 25 points. So I actually tweeted before the game, there's no reason why Michigan State should be favored by, it was like 13 or 14 against Minnesota after they've lost 3 straight games, and then they beat Minnesota by like 25 points. I was like, well, just kidding. I guess they should have been favored by that.
Yeah, that's one of those where you kind of slowly close your laptop, turn it off, and cry in the corner.
Yeah, I acknowledge it. I'll say when I'm wrong. I'm not worried about that. But anyway.
Well, who would have saw it coming, youngster?
Right.
I mean, it's not like they were playing extremely poor, but they lost Langford. They lost 3 in a row. Minnesota's actually playing decent basketball.
Right.
Yeah, who would have saw a 25-point victory? I didn't.
Right. So, I was wrong. Crucify me, I guess. Anyway.
A game that, Michigan State should win this game.
Yeah.
But not by 25.
Right. Figured they win by 7, But anyway, top 16s I like a lot. And Iowa, I've been saying this a couple weeks now. I think they're very fun to watch. I love their guards. I love their bigs. It's hard not to love a team if you love their guards and their bigs. So that's I guess all I'll say about them. Yeah. And then otherwise, you got Ohio State and Minnesota with 2 good records fighting, for 500 in the conference, and they're solid teams. Just based on the record across the board, no matter what you look at. So Minnesota's lost 3 straight. Ohio State's won 3 straight. That's kind of the difference there. So Minnesota's, interesting team to look at going forward. Are they going to just completely take a nosedive and play themselves out of the tournament? Could happen. But anyway, that's exactly what it looks like. Is you've got those top 8 teams, and then you got Illinois, Indiana, Rutgers, Northwestern, Nebraska, Penn State. Minnesota 6-7, Illinois 5-8, Indiana 4-9, Rutgers 4-9, Northwestern 3-9, Nebraska 3-10. They've lost 7 straight now. I still think they're playing the worst basketball in the league. Penn State 1-11. I still think they're playing better than basketball than Nebraska, but that's just me. Even though they're 8-15 overall. But,
so Kevin, you went through the standings. You know what the crazy thing is?
Yeah,
there's going to be a couple of really good teams that don't get a double bye. I mean,
I know.
It's not like last year when we looked at the double byes, and it was clearly these are the best teams in the conference. Yeah. There's going to be, I guess, in my opinion, and there's still, 8-9 conference games to go for a lot of teams. There may be a team that does not get a double bye that I think is better than a team that does get a double bye, but they're all good. Yep. There's going to be some really good teams that are not even going to get that double bye, and it's like, really, we're this good, and we've got to play early. But again, it goes to show how good the Big Ten is this year, because you just went through it. And again, I mentioned it last week about there's a pencil line drawn, and I still think it's a pencil line, Kevin, because what you can do is we always talked about the tier system in this conference. You could just we had the bottom 4. You could just extend the bottom dwellers if you wanted to and keep the tiers the same. However, have Purdue and Michigan State really, have they created separation as that top tier? I don't think they have. I still think Michigan's really good. I think Purdue's really good. But am I saying that all of a sudden Iowa can't beat Purdue, or a Minnesota can't beat a Purdue or a Michigan? Right. Last year we had that top tier, and we're like, it would have to be perfect basketball. And this year I'm looking at Michigan, and I guess my opinion changed on all of this, Kevin, when the Wisconsin Badgers beat Michigan in Madison. Yeah. I didn't think they would. But it went to show you that, yes, Michigan has great defense, but you can beat them. Yep. You can beat them. And as I watched that game, that Badger game in Madison, different game this weekend, but the one in Madison, the Badgers didn't play perfect, but they played very well, and Michigan is beatable. It's just they're really tough. They're not going to lose a lot. But same thing with Purdue. They've won 8 in a row. Are they ever going to come off the cloud? I think eventually they may come back down to earth. But they found compliments to Carson Edwards, which is great. That's what we talked about. When they were struggling, we kept saying Purdue will struggle until other guys step up. And the other guys are stepping up. Same with Wisconsin. So I look at Purdue, and I'm like, yeah, they've won 8 in a row. They're in second place all alone. But are they really better than Michigan State? Right. Record-wise, they are. Talent-wise, I don't think they are. But team-wise, maybe they are a better team than Michigan State when you look at an overall team perspective. So it's going to be an interesting Big Ten tournament, Kevin, because there's going to be teams that are playing early that don't get a double bye, and it could really affect the outcome of who wins the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I was still living in Wisconsin come Big Ten tournament time, because I would cover it one way or another. I would find a way to cover it. Would be very interesting and appealing to me anyway, but that's just me. I guess that's all I got. I guess with the Wisconsin-Michigan game, even at Ann Arbor, I mean, I watched a bit of it. I didn't watch as much as I wanted to, but it was basically a close game throughout, and Michigan won the last 2 minutes. You know, they were up like 3 or 4 points with 2 minutes left, and then they just extended their lead and won the game by 9. So it looks like a pretty solid victory, but that was neck and neck for 50 or 58 minutes. 30.
Yeah, it was a flip-flop of what happened in Madison.
Yeah.
It really was. When you talk about winning the last 2 minutes, that's critical. I mean, it's critical in every game, but it's going to go back to what we talked about. Playing on the road in the Big Ten is tough.
Right.
It's tough, and you should hold serve at home. You should win at home. Michigan needed to beat Wisconsin at home. That would have been a tremendous road win for Wisconsin. But are you going to fault them for losing at Michigan? I'm not. I'm really not, because now they took care of Michigan at home. They lost to Michigan at their court. Now maybe they'll get another chance in the Big Ten tournament on a neutral court. Maybe. We'll find out.
Hopefully. I hope so. Going to recap last week's action starting on Thursday. There were no games on Friday, so this is going to go pretty quick. Thursday, there were 2. Iowa went to Indiana. Iowa had 46 points in the first half, was up by 10 at that point, eventually won 77-72. Again, Indiana loses. And then Ohio State was at home to Penn State. Penn State played them very tough. That also went down to like the final minute, and Ohio State ended up winning 74-70. So, again, Penn State fighting hard on the road at an NCAA tournament team's place, and could have won very easily, but they just didn't. That's kind of the story of their season, at least for the Big Ten. Moving to Saturday the 9th, Michigan at home to Wisconsin. Like I said, I already quickly recapped that one. Do you have anything more on that game, Troy?
No. I mean, it just goes back to my point about, back to what we were talking about, you know, top and bottom of the league or tiers. Is Michigan an elite team in the league? Record-wise, ranking-wise, people are going to say, yeah, they are. To me, Kevin, Wisconsin is a very good team, but I want to put them in an elite category, and they've hung with Michigan twice.
Right.
So I'm not elevating Wisconsin, because I follow Wisconsin pretty close, and they have some deficiencies. They can play great defense, but if they can't score, they're going to lose. And if Ethan Happ is the only guy that is going to do anything offensively, they're going to get killed. But they've played Michigan well, but I'm still not going to elevate Wisconsin, Kevin, into a better team than I think they are. So therefore, what I've done is I've taken Michigan down a little bit, if that makes any sense to you.
Yep.
And
makes perfect sense.
I've taken Michigan off a dominant team down to a team that can be beat. That's all I got to say. Yeah,
I would agree. A month ago, I would have picked probably 2 teams better than Michigan. Now I could probably pick 5. And not fairly easily, but I think there are 5 more complete teams than Michigan. Michigan's offense is just too wavy for me right now. A month ago, they were playing phenomenal. Again, we were talking about them. Hey, could they be 27-0 going into Michigan State? They were like 17-0, and since then they've gone like 5-2. You know, so just pump the brakes. There's a lot of basketball to be played. We don't know exactly what these teams are just yet. We've got another month to figure out, and then we've got good old March Madness. Anyway, also on Saturday, February 9th, Michigan State at home to Minnesota. That's the game I was talking about. They won by 24, not 25. So, sorry. Yeah, I was dead wrong on that one. But Michigan State played Michigan State basketball. That's what they're capable of. They're capable of blasting a team that, you know, could be, a 9 seed, 10 seed? You know, and that's what you should do if you're a 2 or 3 seed. Or maybe a 1 if you think they're really all that. But my dog's hollering about it. I guess that's a thing. So anyway, Purdue at home against Nebraska. Nebraska scored 62 points. That was not enough, as Purdue scored 48 in the second half. Carson Edwards had 27. Purdue won by 19 points. That's to be expected for Nebraska at this point, to be honest, which is sad because I thought this was a tournament team. And now it looks like they're not even going to make any tournament, just the way they're playing. They're 3-10 in the Big Ten.
You think they might be in the CIT?
Hopefully. I mean, I don't even know if they would accept it, to be honest. Like, oh, we barely missed the NCAA tournament last year. Okay, we've got all these guys back as seniors. Oh, wait, now we just pooed the bed, as Troy said, and, oh, well, at least the CIT wants us. It's like, no, the season sucked. I mean, that's how it's going. If you're a Nebraska basketball fan, this season has sucked.
Well, Kevin, I know we're not going to have a long extended show today because we don't have a lot to recap. So I want to spend just a minute on this Nebraska team.
Yeah.
Because I'm having a hard time figuring it out, and I know you are too. What happened to Nebraska? Is it purely because they have a lot tougher schedule this year? And we talked about it last year. One of the reasons that they were so good in conference is that the way the schedule rolled out last year, it was kind of a cupcake Big Ten schedule. They played a lot of the bottom dwellers, a lot of the bottom tier teams, and they took care of business. And they piled up the wins. Is it because they just have a tougher schedule this year and the Big Ten is better? Or are they playing just horrid basketball? And if they're playing just horrid basketball, what in the world happened? I mean, I'm trying to figure this out. When you're a senior-laden team that has a ton of experience, I can understand going through the hills and valleys of a season. Happened when I was a player, happened when I was a coach, but not a whole season. This season is horrendous. So where do you point the finger here, youngster? At the players or at the coach? And I don't like to point fingers because it's a team, but something had to go on here. It can't just be that they're playing a tougher schedule in my mind, Kevin. I don't think they're playing good basketball. What about you?
I have to watch them fully for, a few games to really give an in-depth thought. But, I mean, to me, part of it's the schedule, sure. But, you're playing Purdue, and Purdue's a pretty good defensive team this year. And you shoot 38% from the field. They made 10 threes in this game. And they still only scored 62 points. They turned the ball over 8 times. I mean, it's not like they're turning the ball over left and right and getting slammed on the glass. I mean, they lost, the rebounding battle pretty easily on this one. But just overall, I don't know. I mean, and it's not huge injuries to huge guys. I can clearly see 3 of their stars right in their lineup playing 34-plus minutes in this game. One of their guards, James Palmer Jr., had 40 minutes, played all 40 minutes in this game. And they're still getting blasted. So I don't understand how the offense could get that much worse, but like I said, I think last week, that this team's shooting percentage is down the third most from last year to this year. From all 300, I think it's 353 teams I saw. I remember last week I couldn't give you a definitive number. I think there's 353 D1 teams, and they're third in terms of field goal percentage last year to this year from a dropping negative standpoint. It's just completely fallen off a cliff. And again, these juniors have become seniors. It's again, you're not losing your great seniors, and it's just, well, that's what happened. No, this team was supposed to be better. The Big Ten's better. Okay, it equals out. Maybe they lose a couple more games. They go 11-9 in conference instead of 13-5. Now that couldn't even happen. The best they can do is 10-10. That's winning 7 straight games. So I don't know. I don't understand the offense getting that much worse. Somehow they're just shooting a lot more inefficiently. And you would have to watch a few games, in my opinion, to really understand why. But I don't know. I don't get why this team has shot the ball so much worse this year than they have last year with the same guys that are now seniors. I don't get it.
Either do I. That's why I wanted to throw it out there. Continue, my friend.
Yeah. So, let's see here. What other? Illinois was at home to Rutgers to close out Saturday. This game went to overtime, and I'm going to butcher this name, but Illinois won the game 99-94. A 6'9" freshman forward, Georgi Bezhanishvili, is what it looks like.
That last name is almost as bad as mine. Might be worse.
Yeah, it's a lot worse. Yeah, Bezhanishvili. I don't know. I'm sure if you practice it.
Sounds like some kind of lunch special.
I'll have the Bezhanishvili for $3.99, please, with a side of I don't know, but yeah, he had 35.7 rebounds in this game. That's as a freshman, that's kind of impressive. Sure, there was overtime, but 35 points in a Big Ten win. That's against again a Rutgers team that was playing pretty well going into this game. And not to say that they played like crap. They obviously scored plenty, but the defenses were not having it in this game, even with overtime. This game was tied at 86, so going into overtime. Anyway.
Well, the loyal listeners know that I am on the Rutgers bandwagon to make the postseason, Kevin.
Yeah.
But when you look at this game, and a lot of people say, oh, Illinois, Rutgers, who gives a cahoot? Well, we do the Big Ten show, and we're Big Ten. I guess, you know what, Kevin, we're Big Ten nerds. Let's put it that way. We're just Big Ten nerds, right? So I actually get intrigued by games like this. And one of the reasons is, yes, I do want Rutgers to get better, because if Rutgers and Illinois get better, it makes the conference better.
Right.
And that's what it's about. Everybody, and I understand all the fans. I talked about it earlier in the show, and all these groups that I'm in, and they go crazy, and it's only their team. Nobody else can be good. Nobody else can be good in the conference because they're the best. Fine. Your team's the best. I look at the overall body of work. I want all the teams to be good. We know not all the teams can make the big dance. We know that. But they're the teams that are traditionally at the bottom of the conference. Those are the teams I want to see get better, Kevin. I want a Rutgers to win 7 Big Ten games. And people say, well, 7-13, that sucks. Well, it might suck for a Michigan. It might suck for a Michigan State. But if Rutgers, Kevin, would end this Big Ten season at 7-13, that would be 3 more wins. I think that athletic department would be ecstatic. Yeah. They're probably ecstatic already that they got 4.
Right.
But this is a team, and I look at that, and I did not get to watch any of the game, nor did I DVR it. I did a little box score looking. But to look at it, Kevin, and to see Rutgers put up 90 points, I know it was overtime, but your overtime is just a few minutes. Rutgers offensively was doing some really good things. Now, again, it was against Illinois, not a great defensive team. But Rutgers offensively, they put up some points, and that's a good sign. So I guess my whole thing on the soapbox here is you can be a fanatic of your team. I am a diehard Badger fan, but I realize where their limitations are, and I want these teams like a Rutgers to get better. I want Northwestern to play basketball like they can. I want Penn State to keep hustling and find some consistency to start winning more games. Because you brought it up in the beginning of the show, Kevin, the top 16 by the selection committee, showing the Big Ten some love. Well, the more teams that are good, the more love that they're going to get when the pairings come out and the invites to the big dance come out. So I'm all for these teams at the bottom of the conference piling up wins and playing a Wisconsin competitively. And you know what? Hey, it's basketball. Maybe the Badgers lose to one of these teams, and guess what? I'll still be on the same side of it. Like, hey, I want this team to be strong from top to bottom. I don't want any pushover games in this conference. That's all I got.
Yeah, I hear you 100%. I feel the same way about the ACC, but, I cover and talk about and, the Big Ten. So I'm more invested in the Big Ten, and, I'm with you. I think that overall, this conference, I said it a week ago, I mean, you can look top to bottom, and it's like Penn State's not playing terribly. Nebraska is, but Nebraska has talent. They're just playing like crap. It's hard to pick out bad teams in this conference this year. Last year you could do it. This year, you're stretching. To call Nebraska terrible, they're playing terrible, but Nebraska is not really a terrible team. Like, they went 10-1 in the non-conference. I have no idea who they played. I don't remember. But they've got talented seniors on their team. They do. 100%, I guarantee it. They're just shooting like crap this year in conference play. That's just the way it is. But Nebraska is not terrible. Northwestern's got some players. Illinois and Rutgers have been playing decent all year, and Illinois has won 3 straight. I mean, so they're right on that cutoff line of making the NCAA tournament, basically, in terms of, hey, Minnesota's 1 game above us. Oh, Minnesota's easily in the NCAA tournament? Well, Illinois is 1 game behind them in the Big Ten. I mean, so it's not ridiculous to say Illinois is not a terrible team. They're playing pretty decent right now. Indiana's got talent. They've got NBA players on the team. And these are all the bottom schools of this conference. So it goes to show how good the top 6 are. And Ohio State's pretty talented as well. So I don't know. This conference, top to bottom, is fairly impressive to me. Anyway, let's see here. So going to, was that it? No, it wasn't. Sunday, the 10th. Iowa was
I was going to say, forgot a whole day there, youngster. I got you all flustered.
Iowa at home to Northwestern. Northwestern had the lead for most of the game, and Iowa basically hit a buzzer beater 3 for the win. They were down by 2, and he hit it with like 0.3 seconds left. Northwestern was up 12 with 3 minutes left in this game. Basically, it was like 3 and change, and Iowa had a pretty ridiculous comeback. So that's how Iowa won that game. And again, I love this Iowa team. I think they're pretty damn good, and yet Northwestern, who's been playing like crap all year long, should have beat them.
They should have beat them. And here's the difference
Iowa
between this year's Iowa team and the past, Kevin. I think you brought it up maybe 2 weeks ago. Iowa can score this year. Iowa can run. Iowa probably has sacrificed a little bit of that old, grinded-out, great defensive mentality to, like, we're going to stay with the times, and we're going to try to score now. And I think because of the way that they've tried to change their culture, that's why they beat Northwestern. Had this been an Iowa team that I'm accustomed to growing up, they would never have come back from 12 points down. Never.
Right.
But I think that the Iowa basketball program, in my mind, the culture has changed. They're going to sacrifice a little bit on defense to have a little bit more on offense, and it's paying off for them. It's worked wonders. Now, again, too, being the Badger fan, I got to always kind of relate some things to that. Badgers are down by 12 with 3 minutes to go. Do they have players that could make that comeback? Yeah, they do. But that's not the way they play. They're not a fast trigger, we're going to get 12 points in 2 minutes. They work to build leads. They work to cut into leads. It takes time. They're going to play good, hard-nosed defense. They're not a fast team that's going to up-tempo it all of a sudden and just drain 4 threes. Whoop, lead is cut. No, doesn't happen at Wisconsin. But Iowa, the way they played this year, Kevin, the way that offensively they're attacking, that allowed them to come back from 12 down. Yeah,
they're very fun to watch. If you fans of this show, fans of the Big Ten, fans of Iowa, fans of Rutgers, whoever, watch Iowa play. Like, their guards are fun to watch. They can all shoot, and then they've got 3 quality bigs, 1 off the bench. And, the team, I like Iowa a lot. I really hope they don't run into, the Duke in the second round or something stupid, That happens, like, every year. Like, there's one team that, oh, man, I love this team a lot. They're like a 5 seed, and then, who's the 4 seed they're playing? Oh, a team that should have been like a 2. Something ridiculous, No,
you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, what? Troy, you there? I think I lost Troy. Well, yeah, we'll see. When he comes back, he'll tell us what will happen.
No, I'm here. I had, like, dead air.
Oh. Go ahead.
That's good. This beautiful. No, I don't have anything. It's just this beautiful northeast weather we're having. You don't want to get me started. You got me started last Thursday on the show talking about moronic drivers, and it's raining again with some snow mixed in. So you know what I'm dealing with right now as I'm doing the show.
Yep.
and then my phone's going to cut in and out because of this crazy weather. So I'm just going to focus on the show and not worry about these morons driving in front of me.
Just be careful. So what's going to happen?
Very careful.
What's going to happen to Iowa?
Careful.
You were going to say it.
What's going to happen to Iowa? No, in the tournament, like you talked about, it happens every year where there's a really hot team like in Iowa that gets screwed in the seeding. Just literally gets screwed. And they don't have a chance. Like, it's a team that if you put them in a decent bracket, a decent seed, they could maybe make a Sweet 16 or an Elite 8. But there's always that, like, really good team that plays in one of the major conferences that is a middle-of-the-pack team playing good basketball that literally gets screwed over. It happens every year. And I think it's almost like the committee does it on purpose.
I bet this happens to a Big Ten team this year, Troy, because I think that, like, Iowa, you could say, is going to be like a 5 seed going into the Big Ten tournament. They're going to get like one bye. They'll get a single bye because they'll miss out on the top 4. And then, like, in the second round of the Big Ten tournament, they'll play, like, Minnesota, Ohio State, Indiana gets hot, they'll lose, and then they drop to like a 7 seed. And so they'll play a 10 seed in the first round, win, and then they get like number 2 North Carolina in the second round, and it's like, boop, they're gone. Something like that's going to happen. To Iowa, to Wisconsin, to Maryland, one of these really good teams is going to have like you can quote-unquote poor performance in the Big Ten tournament. They'll go down a seed line or 2, and it'll affect them.
All right, Kevin. So you see, again, you always bring up something that keeps my gears turning in my head. You keep me young. You keep this old man young, because we've brought this up about that middle of the pack. Who's going to separate? And they're just going to beat each other up. And I mentioned there's going to be some really good teams that don't get a double bye.
Right.
And you want to talk about a conference that is going to be tough in the tournament? So let's say it's Maryland. Maryland doesn't get a double bye. They've got to play. They get their so-called cupcake game in the first game, and then boom. It's not like you're running into juggernauts, but you're running into good teams now that have that double bye. So it's almost like, even if I have a double bye, if I'm one of the double bye teams, is it really like a benefit for me? Because there's going to be a team coming at me that's probably really good. And like you said, Kevin, let's say it's a Wisconsin. Let's say Wisconsin gets a double bye, and I have no idea how it's going to play out. But then they get a Minnesota in the first game, their first game. So they're in that quarterfinal, and Minnesota beats them. Am I going to think Wisconsin's that much more worse because Minnesota beat them? No. But the committee might. So like you said, all of a sudden, you're not a 4 seed anymore. You're not a 5. You're going to be an 8 because you lost in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. Yeah. I could see it happening. But again, we're talking about, Kevin, last week, 9 teams. There are some bracketologists that had 9 Big Ten teams in the tournament. You can't have 9 teams in the quarterfinals.
Right.
That means 8 quality teams are in a conference tournament quarterfinal. What other conference can say that? So you're sitting there, even Michigan, if they end up being that number 1 seed, and let's say it works out, I'd have to see how the brackets work out. But let's say they play the 8th seed, who right now would be
Minnesota.
Illinois? Minnesota.
Yeah.
You're telling me Minnesota can't beat Michigan?
That's an NCAA tournament.
So, but you're talking now, Kevin, a quarterfinal that possibly could have, according to bracketologists, all NCAA teams in it.
Right.
What kind of that's insane.
Yeah.
That's totally insane. And then there's going to be teams that lose that first quarterfinal game that had a double bye, and it's going to screw them when it comes to seeding. And it shouldn't.
Yeah.
But it is. Continue. I know we're kind of babbling on here.
We'll be on the look for who that team is, because I'm pretty sure it'll happen to one of them. Anyway, Ohio State went to Indiana to close the week, and Ohio State won 55-52. Ohio State had the lead throughout most of it. The last minute 30, they were actually down 3 at one point, and won those that last minute 30. in particular to win the game. Ohio State was in control for most of it. Indiana just closed it and took the lead at one point. But Ohio State went on the road and survived a push from Indiana. So that wraps up the week. As far as Tuesday, the 12th, February 12th, Purdue at Maryland. Not going to go crazy in depth on these games, but
no, but I'll just give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and I guarantee this week it's probably going to be like 95% thumbs up to watch. That's definite. That's a double thumbs up right there on that one.
Yeah, that's on BTN, by the way, Tuesday night. Purdue at Maryland. That's going to be a very nice game to watch. 7 o'clock, ESPN2. Another double thumbs up. Michigan State at Wisconsin.
Woo!
Yeah, I already have that set on the DVR, Troy.
You're DVR
Michigan.
on that one, huh?
Yeah, yes, I am. Just in case.
Yeah, that's a double thumb up right there too. Not just because I'm a Badger fan. That's because of this show. Go big or go home. Double thumb up. I mean, if you're a Big Ten basketball fan, that's a must-watch game.
Yeah, that's like a Sweet 16 game. That's good basketball. Michigan at Penn State. Again, Michigan should win, but it'll be interesting to see if Michigan takes them a little lightly and Penn State pushes them, and Penn State's at home. Could be an interesting game.
That one I flatlined that. I'll probably listen to it again because I can listen to all the Penn State games. But the way Penn State's been playing, like you said, they're not playing terrible. They get behind the 8 ball and then they can't dig themselves out. And honestly, against Michigan, even if they're not playing their best, if you get behind the 8 ball against Michigan, you're done. You're done. And that's why I'm saying they'd have to.
What other conference can have the top team go to the worst team in the conference? And, people say legitimately it could get interesting. Like, I don't think it will, but it could get interesting. If Penn State's playing well and Michigan's shooting it poorly, Penn State could win the game. Can Boston College beat Duke?
Well, I was going to say, let's use your Dukies, Kevin, and I live out in Pittsburgh, so Duke and Pittsburgh. Is Pittsburgh really going to beat Duke?
Right. It's not going to happen. And go across any conference in the country. It's not going to happen. But Big Ten, it actually could get interesting. That's how good the conference is, top to bottom. So, anyway, Wednesday, Rutgers at Northwestern. I will not be DVRing that one. But if Rutgers wants to go to the postseason somehow, going on the road against Northwestern, almost a must-win in my opinion. If they need to rack up, 3, 4, 5 more wins, this is a winnable one. So going on the road to Northwestern, it'll be a good basketball game. It should be close because Northwestern's playing better than Rutgers is playing better than Northwestern is. Excuse me.
2 months ago, Kevin, I bet you Northwestern fans on the schedule are like, here's my tickets for the game. I don't want to watch Rutgers against our team.
Right.
And right now, this if you're a basketball fan, that's going to be a good basketball game. I think that's 2 evenly matched teams right now, youngster. I'm not going to give it a huge double thumbs up, and I probably won't catch any of it, so I'll probably flatline it. But like you said, for Rutgers, this is a huge game. So Northwestern better be ready at home to defend their home court because Rutgers right now has to be feeling really good about themselves as a basketball program. So if I'm a Northwestern fan, I wouldn't just say, we're playing Rutgers, here's an easy win. This is not going to be an easy win.
They got a better record in the Big Ten than you do. They have a better record than Northwestern does in the Big Ten. They're one game behind overall.
But I think you can agree with me, Northwestern should win this game at home, Kevin.
Yeah,
but
I do.
If I see the box score and I see Rutgers has defeated Northwestern, I won't even blink because they could. But Northwestern at home should beat Rutgers. Carry on.
Right. Minnesota at Nebraska. Minnesota should win on the road here. If Nebraska were to change things, this would be the game to do it. I think Minnesota's lost 3 straight games. So Nebraska at home here, this would be the time to do it, to play against a pretty good team and show to yourselves that you can beat a pretty good team, this would be huge for Nebraska if they want any shot in the world of doing anything. You basically have to win out. But I won't say that, because if they were to win out, they'd go 10-10 in the Big Ten, and they'd be 20-11, and they'd be that hot team. They'd be in. So I'm not saying they have to win out, but they got to go like 6-1. So anyway, and then probably do some damage in the Big Ten tournament. But
I'm going to flip the table, Kevin. I think this is a bigger game for Minnesota.
Yeah,
Minnesota on the road against Nebraska. I know we look at the brackets, and I'm not big into it, but I do check them out. They're there. I might as well look at them, right? Minnesota, if they lose this game to Nebraska, I think all of a sudden it puts them into maybe that first four out. I really do.
Right.
Because we've brought it up a few times. Nebraska not playing really good basketball right now. Even though this is a road game, this is a game Minnesota needs to win, Kevin, if they want to keep making a case to be in the tournament. If they lose to Nebraska, this could be a very devastating loss for Minnesota.
Right. I was going to say it's going to be treated like a bad loss, probably, which it shouldn't. But Nebraska's playing like crap, so again, you should win. But they should have been in the NCAA tournament a year ago with this team.
Do you have the standings up with Minnesota's road record, Kevin? They're not really good on the road.
1-6 this year.
Yeah. I didn't know exactly what it was. I knew it was pretty horrid.
Yeah.
But here we go. You're looking at a Minnesota team that's kind of in that middle of the pack, right above the pencil line that we talked about. This is the game they got to win. You want to make your point, go on the road, get a win, even though it's against a subpar team right now, record-wise, still a good team. But this is the game that Minnesota has to go on the road and win. This would be so helpful for Minnesota in the eyes of the committee. But they just got to do it. And I think if they lose, I think it could be devastating for them. And it goes back to what we said. The problem the Big Ten has, being so deep, is that those teams and now we're looking at it, that are maybe 7, 8, 9, and 10, now they're going to start beating each other up. And how is the committee going to view that? Are they going to view it as, well, you're not as good as we thought? Or are they going to view it as, this conference is 10 deep? We don't know. That's why, I go back and I love how you said in the beginning of the show, showing some love. Because that's what Minnesota will need if they lose this game to Nebraska. That's all I got.
I'll pick Nebraska for the upset. I'll do it. I think they're as talented, and they'll be at home, and they'll understand, that they need a win. I'll go with Nebraska for the upset there. Thursday, moving on, Illinois at Ohio State. Ohio State should win at home, but Illinois is not a pushover this year. So they want to get up tempo, and if Ohio State is not shooting with Illinois, you could see an Illinois road upset. And again, this is huge for Ohio State. It's not huge for Illinois. It's huge for Ohio State. You have to win this game. Otherwise, you're going right back onto the, maybe we're in the tournament, maybe we're not. If we're in,
because it'll drop them below 500 in the conference. They'll fall 6 and 7.
Yeah. They could be on the first 4 in, and that means you're playing that Tuesday game before the NCAA tournament even starts. So you don't want an extra game. When you have to win 6 games as it is, you don't want to have to win 7. That's just, kind of common sense. But anyway, no games on Friday. Saturday, Maryland at Michigan. So Maryland's got an interesting little schedule.
Maryland's got a killer week.
Yeah. At home against Purdue Tuesday, and then Saturday, you're going on the road to Michigan.
But you could also view this youngster as, what's the word I'm looking for? Not justice time, but maybe statement time. If Maryland wants to make a statement, if they got 2 wins this week, think if we're back on this show next Monday talking about Maryland getting 2 wins against Michigan and Purdue. I mean, holy cow! Even if they split, if they go 1-1, I mean, how can you fault Maryland for going 1-1 against 2 teams that are ahead of you in the standings?
Right.
And if they go 0-2, are you going to think any less of Maryland? Now, we haven't seen them play, but even if they lose 2 close games and they play well, this is what sucks. Because Maryland's playing good basketball. They're a good basketball team. I didn't think they'd be where they're at this year, Kevin. I didn't think they'd be at the top of the conference. But if they lose both games, I mean, it's going to change the landscape of the standings. But now all of a sudden you got Maryland dropping, 2 or 3 spots? And are they really like the 5th or 6th best team? No. But that's the way the Big Ten's going to roll out. It goes back to our point we were talking about with these double byes. All of a sudden you got Maryland, no double bye, playing an early game. Do you really want to face Maryland in the quarterfinal? I don't. I don't want the Badgers playing Maryland. Maryland will probably beat them. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But, yeah, Maryland's got a tough week, my friend.
Also, Indiana at Minnesota. Minnesota, another big week for them. Well, most of these teams, it's a big week. But Minnesota, another game that they should win. It's big for Minnesota. Again, would be huge to go to 8-7 in the Big Ten as opposed to, they should have won both of these. Oh, look, they're only 7-8. So big week for Minnesota. 2 games they should win.
This is a make it or break it week for Minnesota.
Yeah.
We could be talking next Monday, Kevin, and Minnesota is no longer in the tournament.
Right.
If they lose both these games, how can you put them in at that point?
Yeah, 6-9.
It's not, and it's not like they're losing to Purdue and Wisconsin or Purdue and Michigan or Michigan State and Maryland. You're talking about 2 teams that technically, if you're a tournament team, you are better than them. You can't lose it. They have to go 2-0. It's a defining week for Gopher basketball.
I would agree. Purdue at home against Penn State. Again, Purdue should win, but you can't take Penn State lightly. We've sang that song before on this show. Iowa at Rutgers. Again, Rutgers is playing good basketball. Iowa should win. They're the better team. Iowa should score 90 points in this game. But you can't sleep on the road at Rutgers. That's why they're 4-9. So, also,
Rutgers had a big win at home earlier in the year.
Yeah, no joke. Or not a joke. This season, Northwestern at Nebraska. Not recording this one. Another, if Nebraska were to go
that's not even a straight liner. That's a thumbs down.
This is a week.
I mean, I know I'm a Big Ten guy, but no, I would probably watch the Alliance of American Football or American Alliance Football, whatever that is, instead of that game. I just have no interest in that game.
This is the week Nebraska needs to turn it around. And if they go 2-0, and like I said, they've got to go at least 6-1 in their last 7 games, right? So you've got 2 winnable games right here. Here you go. If you don't do it,
even if they go 6-1, where does that put them?
9-11, they'd be 19-12. So if you win a couple games in the Big Ten tournament, you could get to 500 in the Big Ten, and you'd hit that 20-win mark. And they'd be one of those teams that you're talking about is getting better as we go into March Madness. So, I'm just saying.
You'll have a hard time selling me on this Nebraska team if they went 6-1. Even if they went 6-1, I don't know if I can give my blessing for them. Even being a Big Ten guy.
Yeah,
I just don't know. All right, what else? We got any more?
Sunday, 1 game. Ohio State at Michigan State, CBS. It seems like these teams just played. But, Michigan State should take care of business. Will Michigan State lay another egg? It seems like they righted the ship against Minnesota, so I'd be surprised if they laid an egg here at home. But, big game, huge opportunity for Ohio State, one of those bubble teams, to say, yeah, we went to Michigan State a month ago and beat them. When you're talking about, should Ohio State be in? Yeah, they should. That would be a difference maker. So, huge potential game for Ohio State.
How funny is it when everybody starts writing off Michigan State that they come and they have one of these blowout games?
Right.
It's Tom Izzo. you know there were some not very pleasant words said at practice. I would almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
And now you're looking that's their only game of the week, isn't it? Sunday.
Let me double check. I believe so. No, they play at Wisconsin Tuesday. So.
Oh, that's right. They've got a game against Wisconsin. So I feel bad for my Badgers after that big win. I'd like them to beat Sparty, but that's going to be a tough one, even at home. So, yeah. But yeah, it's on Sunday. I mean, it's a big game for Ohio State. Nonetheless, they've got to do some damage if they want to make any kind of run. But it's just funny how Michigan State, everybody writes them off, and then they start playing better. It happens all the time. All right, my friend, I think it's time to wrap her up. What do you say? Anything else?
I'm done. Nebraska for the upset, and they're going 2-0 this week, and here we go. They're going into March Madness. You're
going to try to sell me on why they're a tournament team.
Yep, it starts this week.
Good luck, youngster. Good luck. I know you're a dreamer. I know you're a dreamer.
I'll pull for him.
Get your arguments ready. I'm ready. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Like the youngster said earlier in the show, make sure you find us on Twitter at YoungsterOldMan as the show handle. Not only do we do a Big Ten show, we also do a syndicated radio show on 3 stations on the weekend, and we also do a local show in Union City, PA. To get the links for those shows, follow us on Twitter at YoungsterOldMan. You can follow me at TroyRobert967. Or if you want to follow the streaming youngster, at Kid Cunny, KIDCUNI. Hope you enjoyed the show, everybody. We'll get back at you next week, same place, same time. Have a good night.